If there's been a car we've all wanted at least once in our lives, it's this car. It's the car that gets confused with a Ferrari by pretty much everyone. It's the car that for some reason has appreciated an astronomical amount in the past 5 years, because that's just what cars are doing these days. It's almost the only car you'll see with 100,000 miles or more, because you could actually drive these things religiously and they wouldn't break. They are the car that was like the flippy floppy headlights. It had a reliable motor, a proper exhaust note, and it's still considered one of the best cars you can buy, even though they're 30 years old. That's sad. I'm Alex@FI on Instagram, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about my high school sweetheart of a car, the Honda NSX. If you're just jumping in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell button so we can take the YouTube algorithm into our own hands. That's all I got, actually. Thank you very much. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to hit up fitmentindustries.com, where we've got it all for your newly acquired NSX, or if you just got an MR2, because this is the closest thing that you could get to at the time, which is okay. We don't judge. The Honda NSX, or as it's named here in the USA, the Acura NSX, is a two-seater mid-engine sports car that was manufactured by Honda. Its origins take us back to the year of 1984, where Honda was being a little bit curious, like most kids in college, and wanted to try a way to compete with the then V8 Ferrari engine brilliance, exotic thing that was happening at the time. There was all sorts of battles going on between Ferrari and Lamborghini and Porsche and pretty much everybody overseas. The small thing is, though, is that Honda really didn't want to have their car just randomly start on fire. They wanted it to be weird, like they wanted reliable, and they didn't want to charge an arm and a leg, they just wanted to charge an arm. They started by introducing something called the HPX, which was the Honda Pininfarina Experimental, but that acronym didn't really make the cut. The NSX would hit the showroom floor and featured some beautiful design work done by chief designer Masahito Nakano and Shigeru Uehara. It had all the good with interior styling from like an F-16 fighter jet, like pew, 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 pew. It had influence and changes from the one and only Ayrton Senna.
You don't feel the speed, in a way. You just don't feel the speed. The car is so stable and so comfortable.
When it was going through its final development stages, it ultimately resulted in the car actually being shipped its happy ass back into reproduction, percent more rigid, because he said the initial test run felt a little bit, and I quote, fragile.
Fragile. It must be Italian.
Soichiro Honda was personally involved in the execution of this car as the supreme advisor for Honda, pushing the company to become the technological champion like it was in decades past. He would get as detailed to stop a shipment of NSXs on the US port because he didn't like the variation of the Acura logo that was on the car at the time. He would then have them replaced, the old emblems destroyed, so that the car could meet his expectations on how he wanted the car to be perceived, which is in fact pretty gnarly. In terms of going all out, Honda wasn't really pulling any punches. They'd invest over $25 billion into this car. Actually, they didn't. They only invested about $140 million. Not so impressive now, is it? Kind of a letdown. Doesn't seem like as much money anymore. Let that sink in. The car would be introduced with an all-aluminum body, a 3-liter V6 engine, V-TEC. It was awesome, and an optional manual or automatic transmission. It had pretty much everything an everyday driver car could possibly want. I mean, have you ever actually been in a legitimate supercar before? Let me explain to you how actually painful it is to do just about anything in one of those cars. This is really neat. However, it's not easy to get in if you're anything bigger than me, which is pretty much like a 14-year-old boy. So like, you get in and you got, you got it. Okay, hold on, let me just, oh God, my hair. Okay, and now you're in. Awesome. I have about 5 inches of clearance through the front windshield, which is fantastic. I can see absolutely nothing through the 6 inches of side window that I have, but I look really cool. Now, if I want to look behind me, the great news is I can't see a thing. because there's glass in the way and a wing, which means if I wanted to look behind me, I can't. The good news is though, is that if I'm looking to pass, I can just look here. Great. I see a control module for the hood. And over here, I have what looks like the free version of a window. And if I want to get an actual window that works, I have to pay an additional DLC. So in terms of driving this, you can't see a thing. Now let's get out so I can just, let me just, don't want to scratch the leather. Oh God. Okay, then you just gotta watch the head. We're good. Oh. And then after all of that, you have to do it all like it wasn't painstakingly difficult to get in and out. Because if it looks like you're having a tough time, you're gonna look like that one guy that was trying to get out of a Lamborghini in a gas station. It was really hilarious and then it went viral. The NSX, on the other hand, had practicality in mind, with the vehicle's ergonomics being built around the driver being actually able to see where it was going. How awesome. Even the long tail and the short nose, the NSX would maintain a beautiful weight distribution with an all aluminum frame that would have never seen before in the world of cars at the time. Yokohama would even make over 6,000 tires specifically for the application of the NSX and a whole bunch of different models to make sure it was what we wanted. The double wishbone suspension would grace the NSX for the fact that it was perfectly paired for the specifications Honda needed to make a banger of a car. This car was pretty much perfectly crafted from the get-go, from the shifter to the iconic motor that outpaced the Ferrari 328 at the time in terms of displacement and horsepower ratios. It had its own quality control and having a plant specifically built for the production of the NSX at the Tochigi plant. The 200 plant workers could take as much time as necessary to assemble these state-of-the-art cars, which, unlike most factory jobs out there, if you've worked at one, that just doesn't exist. And NSX was the only car that was really getting built, even through the welding and everything and the rivets and all of that stuff. Everything was done exactly how they wanted it to be done. When the first gen got released, it received a massive amount of publicity, and although it never really took off like a proper production car, it really was never Honda's intention. The car would receive a facelift to ditch the pop-up headlights. Boo! And also send some improvements to the engine, aerodynamics, put in a 3.2 liter and a few other items. It would be discontinued in 2005 and would die away until its revival just about 2-ish or so years ago. The second generation, while not much of a history behind it, is way completely different. It featured a twin turbo 3.5 liter with some electric motor goodness, a 9-speed automatic, and some new materials to make it a blast of a car. However, just like some of the other new cars taking on the older legacy cars and what we know of them, they didn't really just hit the mark like the first generation NSX. It's kind of like when you go to Taco Bell. Like, you're not mad, you still got your tacos, you still got your burrito box, you just wish you would have spent the extra $5 and went to the taco joint on the side of the road that smells like exhaust fumes, because everything is just better there, and you've gone there since you were 5 and you know the dudes that's gonna get you the steak tacos with the cilantro and the onions and the red sauce. It's so good. But we're not here to teach you about the history. Oh no, son. We're here to help you decide on if you actually want an Honda / Acura NSX and if it's the appropriate car for you there, bud. So, you want an Acura / Honda NSX. Well, set down your Honda hat and grab your Mountain Dew, because we're about to dive head first on if these cars are actually what you would want to pick up 30 years later. The first thing to remember is that if you've managed to snag a Honda NSX, just good on you. I'm proud of you. NSXs are inherently a bit difficult to get your hands on, especially if you're on a budget. The ones that are available have a few quirks. Most that you'll find will be affordable are going to be automatics. There's nothing wrong with that, but the car more appropriately behaves with the short shift feeling manual. The rest were likely totaled, and all the other ones that are manual and non-totaled are gonna take you right around that $50,000 mark, especially right now. That's usually the mark if you want an NSX with about 100,000 miles. Pricing, it's not going down. So if you're on the fence, I would recommend snagging one now versus later. You might be wondering,
hey, Alex, how come a mediocre owned by 6 previous people, 130,000 NSX is going for $90,000 or $50,000 or $70,000?
That is a great question, me, and here's why. The cars were almost always properly driven. Because of the fact that they were built to be daily drivable, that's what a lot of enthusiasts did with these things when they first came out. they drove them. They had no negatives like a Ferrari that had like the tin can metal exhausts that fell apart, or the Lamborghinis that required a $15,000 tune-up every other season you drove at 300 miles. It was a Honda that you could see through what you were driving. You could own it and it could get maintained relatively easy. Like it was just a car that you could drive, and it looked like an exotic supercar. It was driven like a normal car. The NSX is one of those cars that if it doesn't have any miles on it, it'd be a shame. The car itself can handle almost anything. They're reliable, they drive well, they can be taken across the state or country with minimal issues. And everyone is still going to be taking pictures of it, even if they're not a car person, because it looks like a Ferrari. It looks like an exotic car and people think that it is. Take the badge off and nobody would be the wiser. If you're looking to modify an NSX, it all comes down to the pockets, my good friends, because you can do anything. You want to supercharge it? You can do that. You want to turbocharge it? Sure, why not? Wide body it? Absolutely. Wheels? Yeah. You're usually looking at some Japanese high-end wheels for something like this, like TE37s are in tons of these cars, or WED Sports for the one pieces or even NKs. You may even find some German wheels like BBS is hitting these cars as well, because the body style can make pretty much anything look perfect. Tires end up staying around like the Toyo and Falcon lineup versus anything else, with most people running moderate staggered setups, but mostly meaty kind of boys because they want it to keep looking aggressive and mean. Although Airlift and Acura have started to get popular on these cars, you'll still see quite a few people running BC coilovers or the Fortunato coilovers as well, which, by the way, if you're looking to pick up a free set of coilovers, we have a t-shirt giveaway going on right now. You can pick up a t-shirt, gets you automatically entered in to win, and you get a really cool shirt that has Godzilla on it. Some of the negatives of this car are the fact that it's pretty hefty financial investment to get into one of these cars, and you almost immediately have to throw a bit more to update the look of the car. It is still 30 years old. They can carry quite a bit of tax with them, and parts aren't getting any easier to find. The V6 isn't inherently speedy, and it doesn't carry the same howl as its supercar equivalent. But it doesn't really need to, as long as you're not expecting that. The NSX is a car for an enthusiast that wants a forever car, a car that they've wanted to own forever and enjoy for more than the occasional drive, because the Honda NSX is a car you have to drive. It's a car that demands your attention, and the history that follows this car is likely one of the most influential stories in automotive history. It was Honda's answer to telling the world, yeah, bud, we still got it there, and if there's ever a time you need us to come back, we can give her a shot again. So what would you do for an NSX? Let us know in the comment section below, and let's try to keep it PG. Actually, no, the more I think about that, the more I know that that would be a terrible thing for you to do. Instead, just let us know what you'd like us to talk about next. Also, we'll be heading to SEMA this year, again for the third year. It is so much fun. So let us know what you want us to talk about. You can drop us a DM or a comment so we can start planning that out. If you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to check out fitmentindustries.com. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you guys and gals later. I almost lost my coffee. Peace.